Hey everybody, welcome to the garage. Just doing a video for some updates. Been, I think, about 4 months since the last video I did. I'm pretty sure that was all entirely about the engine. That is pretty much completely done. We'll cover that. But for now, I want to go over the actual garage itself related project I got going on. That is this new workbench. Got this on a tripod. Let me scoot it back a bit here. There we go. So I've been working on this workbench. It's not completely done yet, but the main core structure is a big pallet from a job site. Then took some extra boards, filled in the top, and made the railing that you see. I did start belt sanding over here. The belt sander I got worked for about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. The motor started sparking, and then it stopped working, and some bits of the brushes, of one of the brushes, maybe 2 or 3, however many brushes there are, chunks of brush from the motor started falling out. So went and swapped that out. Haven't gotten a chance to get back to belt sanding, but the idea is to belt sand all these boards pretty even with each other. Get some plywood, lay it down, sand it pretty smooth, and then put some sealer on the entire plywood and any other exposed wood, especially on the top. And then put some caulking at the edges all the way around. That way no fluids or anything can drip down to anything that I have stored underneath the workbench. And the idea is why I'm going to go ahead and put plywood on top is for kind of a sacrificial layer. That way, if whatever I'm doing screws up with the plywood, whatever, I undo the plywood, take it off, replace it, it's fine, versus damaging a board where I got to pull a whole board out that's screwed in, and some have screws in nails from when the pallet was put together. So, and it'll just look better, fill in all the gaps, and like I said, prevent any fluids or anything dripping down to anything I have stored. Especially over here where I tried to make a straight edge, didn't work out too well, so there's a bit of a gap there, but that will be covered by the plywood. Got this block here put in because ideally that's where I'm going to put a bench vise. So I can finally have one of those in my life. And that's about it for that. It's about 8 feet long, about 42 inches deep, I believe, if I remember my measurements right. Move the blast cabinet out from here. It's now clear at the other end of the garage. And hopefully I will get some proper airline piping to essentially replace what this is doing and going up there. Get an actual piping kit where I can run it nice and neat along the walls and ceilings and whatever. I believe that's about it for that. All right, and here is the engine. I did actually record one video, but I never put it up because I wasn't feeling great that day or something. So the audio, my words weren't working for that video. And I was just really going over the brackets that I got going on for the pulley system. Essentially, it is the same brackets that came off my 350 small block. There's some adapter plates, which you can see on this side behind there. There's some adapter plates I picked up to use those same brackets on the big block. I did have to modify my alternator bracket to work with the big block alternator that I got, not thinking about the brackets I had, but the alternator puts out better amperage, which is kind of what I was wanting to go with since I'm running electric water pump, electric cooling fans. I'm going to be installing that winch up there at some point once everything's put back in the truck. But yeah, we got the headers on, we got the power steering pump on, feeding back into itself. Got some yeses and some nos on if that's a good idea, but we're going to run it just for simplicity's sake when it comes to running this on the stand. Got some mufflers, so hopefully I don't piss off the neighbors too much. All of the electrical is done. Coolant is filled up. It has oil. The oil's been primed once. I'll probably prime it again before I actually fire this thing up. All I'm missing is a can full of gas and get everybody over here at some point to witness everything. Whether it's gonna blow up on the first startup or not. I really hope it doesn't, but it's also the first engine I built from the ground up. Oh, and also, kind of the reason I need a bench vise or want one, I'm going to be reusing these motor mount buckets from the small block on here, since it's the same bolt pattern, and I already have the other half of the motor mount for inside the truck. It just doesn't clear the header pipes, so I'm just going to modify it a little bit to make it fit. That's why I want the bench vise, because I don't feel like holding a grinder and holding that and risking that whole catastrophe. Coming over here to the stand itself, we can see my wiring setup. Got the battery charger on there, maintaining everything. Let me take this out of the tripod real quick. So we got our gauges here. All these work whenever I click everything on, which I can go ahead and do. So we got that. That's the water pump. Fuel pump goes on there. There's all my accessories, all my gauges, everything. Everything works. Push start. Fuse panel with the ground bus as well. Fuel pump's all hooked up. Just need gas. Not the prettiest wiring, but everything is pretty simple as far as where it goes and how it works. Even got this pressure regulator, which I forgot I don't need because that is a low pressure pump. I got this regulator for when I'm in the truck using the pump out of the fuel tank ideally. Although I'm wondering if I might just swap this pump over to the truck as well. We'll see whenever that all goes together. Still got transmission to rebuild before I do that, along with the front steering and suspension. But as I was saying, I modified the alternator bracket, basically cut off the part that comes up onto this side. I will probably make a bracket to go from here to either this bolt or to where this bolt's on here. That way it's supported there, because right now it's being supported by this bolt and the fact that it's resting there. I'll see how it goes. I might run it like that for now. I might go ahead and make a bracket. I'm not entirely sure yet, but wiring's all hooked up. I have some sheathing that I can run on those wires for when everything's ready to go. Carburetor's there. Everything. I'm gonna make some. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make some legs to go from those buckets down to the legs of the engine stand, just to kind of hold the whole motor up a bit more level and prevent it from rocking around. I do have clearance between the bolts and the flywheel here, but that lower one, it does kind of lean towards. Still has clearance, but I would rather not risk scratching up my flywheel. And even after I make those legs, if I can't get that clearance better, I'll probably just save up the money and get an actual run stand that I have to have the bell housing on and everything. Ones I was looking at, it's like $600, so it'd be a little bit. It's not too terrible though. And I suppose I could probably make it look less janky than this, but it was fun making all this anyway, so not a big deal. Still got the bikes here, ripped up the kitchen floor, so that's kind of there, slowly cleaning up that mess. Got some boxes I need to burn or throw away, but got the blast cabinet over here, like I said, and then this tank was being used to hold pressurized water, if I remember right from the job site. My idea with that is to convert that into a giant air or compressed air reserve tank, or make a second compressor out of it, depending on how all that goes. I believe that's about it. View from the other excuse me, goodness. Here's the view from the other side of the garage. Bit organized, bit cleaned up. I really like that workbench. That's going to be so useful. Make everything a lot easier to work on. In fact, I can probably rebuild my entire transmission on there pretty damn easily. So that'd be nice, especially with the plywood and everything sealed. Don't gotta worry about dumping gear oil and everything under there. I might make a front lip too, but it can't be too tall or else it's just going to be in the way. So we'll see about that. Almost forgot, I might hop in and make some shelves or cabinets on this wall behind the table, because as of right now, like getting to these battery chargers, it's doable, but it is a little bit of a stretch. I may make some shelves or something, bring those out just a little closer from the wall, or be easier to reach. Might just move things. I'm not entirely sure. I am thinking I also, with the hard airline piping, probably got to move this somewhere closer to the middle of the garage. So if I need it over here, it's in the middle. If I need it out in the driveway, it can reach. Something like that. and replace these shelves with better shelves, deeper shelves. So ideally, can eliminate one or two, depending on how many of the deeper shelves I get more wall space just from, I don't know, essentially just doubling the shelf. So, I mean, it wouldn't come out any further than the random crap. I don't know. It's a work in progress, but it's all coming along, and I'm enjoying it. I still got to replace that damn light fixture. That flicker drives me crazy. Yeah, that's about it.